We'll see you again on Inside OC. Okay, so now we just keep talking. So anyway,
okay.
So that was Sonny. So you knew Sonny.
We did a shopping center down there. It was really amazing. I mean, when he came out, I mean, he walked all the way back out there. It was like 110 degrees. He looked in and he goes, "That's just hard to believe." You know, I mean, most pilots look like you. Most pilots look like you know, and they're clean shaven.
Just boring, bland guys, yeah.
A wonderful guy like you. And I think at the end of the day, it's really amazing. Now, in the industry of doing filming, in the Cobra, almost all of those scenes are military. So nobody has a full beard with military. And it's kind of odd because they had tried to do many different things. You know, I'd wear like a military outfit, and then the military would have a brown T-shirt. So the director would come up. When he'd film it, he goes, "Come back down. This is not working. It looks like we got ZZ Top up here flying this deal. He's supposed to be in Vietnam." So we go back down there, and he takes a brown T-shirt and he pulls it up like this to my beard, and he goes, "I think that'll work out okay." So we fly in, and then there's helicopters on both sides, so it's a stunt job. It's really tight quarters. And so I turn my head like this, the beard comes out, the guy goes, "Oh, yep, cut." I mean, you know, the director, like 5 times he cut the film because of that.
And you just won't cut the beard?
No, and there's only 2 Cobra attack helicopters in the civilian world, and one of them's in a museum, so it's like, well, you can
So you've got the one working...
Yeah, and we're still looking. You know, we do films every once in a while. Most of the newer films have Blackhawks in them, or Apaches, which is equal to that of the Cobra. So because of that, the Vietnam era movies are less and less. So there's a less demand for that. But a lot of times what they do is they'll take the film, and then they'll take the rest of the film, they'll put a green screen behind it, they'll set in another guy, and it looks like he's flying, and they took me out.
Oh, okay, all right.
So 90% of
so
the deal.
you're a stunt pilot with your own stunt pilot, so to speak.
I
right?
have my own stunt man.
You're a stunt man.
It's
you're right.
pretty funny because when you see them in there, they're going like this with this stick, and they're looking around, but they're really not doing anything. You know.
You're doing all the work. Okay.
Yeah.
So. You have established yourself as a prominent developer in Orange County. The most prominent developer of all is Donald Bren, of course, the chairman of the Irvine Company. Have you ever met Donald Bren?
I have. I met him. I live on Linda Isle, and he used to live on Linda Isle. He has since moved to Harbor, but it's amazing. He's really a great guy. Very quiet. You never see him or anything. My biggest meeting was him. I was leaving to go to work, probably 4:30 or so in the morning, and he was out in front. This was 20 years ago or so, picking up all these newspapers in front of his house with his bathrobe on. I guess he wanted to see if he was in the papers or not.
Wow, Donald Bren, just like the rest of us?
Just like the rest of us.
Just like the rest of us. In the morning, he's
Wonderful
got a bathrobe picking up the
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah, so I pull over, I says, Don, you know, I got a question for you. He looks at me, Mike, like, you know, is that your name? I mean, you live next door, and what do I know? And so I said, yeah. He says, I said, you know, would it be easier? I got a question. Would it be easier for you to lend me a cup of sugar or $1 million? He says, I don't think I have any sugar, but I do have some Sweet and Low. Well, I was hoping for the $1 million, but I never saw it.
But he didn't. Did he laugh, or did he seem a little irked?
Oh, no. He was a great guy. He just wanted to get back in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
but he, you know, he's. I hand it to him. He's a great guy. He's done a lot of great things for the communities, for different things, charity deals, parks, and stuff like that. So I think he's done a tremendous amount of things as a developer, much like myself, in Orange County that he doesn't really get credit for. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that I do, the charity work, the schools, the different things that are going on, sometimes the newspapers leave a lot of that out. And thus I bought the Register building, so that will never happen again.
Yeah. Well, you know, there were some fears at the time that you were trying to take, you were part of the deal of the existing management at the time to try to buy the Register, and that you got outbid essentially. But some folks thought you wanted to start controlling the news media in Orange County.
I thought we were getting pretty close to that, and The deal is, on an auction like that, it's like an all-cash deal. I mean, you have to have that money that day. Digital First Media actually came in. They didn't really want to own the paper. They just wanted to protect the papers that they were being printed at this non-union plant that's here and continue on. I think their biggest fear was that the LA Times would buy it. They compete directly with them. The LA Times would put them out of business. I believe that
interesting. So you think that was a defensive thing they did? They really just wanted to stop the Times? Because boy, they sure talk now like they love this idea. They basically control, outside of the LA Times, they're the other big media in all of Southern California. But you think that was not their prime objective?
Yeah, no, I don't. At the beginning, I think they were just wanting to protect the papers that they're working on.
Okay, and of course it's a different business. I'll ask you, you're a real estate guy.
Yeah.
You now got an insight into the whole print media business. What do you think?
I think it's very interesting, actually being a very mechanical guy and building all kinds of stuff. The very first day when I walked in here and saw the printing presses, they are, I'm sure you've seen them, they're massive. When they're running, it's very impressive.
Yeah, you probably love that, the big machine.
I loved it. Matter of fact, it's kind of funny, there was a guy, Rick Saint, I think it was his name, that runs this. I asked Eric Spitz at the time, I said, I don't really care about the office part of the deal. I don't care about the suits part because I've never really been in that. I want to know who the guy's responsible when the papers start flying all over the room, who shuts that off and who fixes that machine. Because there's only one guy. It's been with them for years, which was this Rick Saint. So I met with him, I went over there, they were running the papers one day, and it was about 10 o'clock, and I had just bought the building, and I found it so amazing and so incredible. I went down to McDonald's, got a couple hamburgers, sat in a chair and watched them make papers and stuff, and then walked the whole deal with him for 2 hours.
That is great, because I bet you there are people who have worked in this building for years that have never even gone down there to watch that.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah, and I think after that I kind of got a little hooked. I thought, you know what, maybe owning this paper business is not such a bad idea.
But it's probably better. Be the landlord.
Be the landlord. Oh, it's so much easier. Too many employees here.
Yeah. When you had your helicopter crash in the Sierra Nevadas, how long did it take for you to get rescued?
The total time from when the ship went down to somebody showing up was about 9 hours.
9 hours. Holy cow! It's just you and your co-pilot
and the Lord.
And the Lord. And the Lord was the only one that didn't have a broken back at that point.
No, but it's
what did you think? Did you think that this is it, or what?
It was an amazing thing, actually. When I had sitting up in the front, I had a little yellow gimbaled cup holder like you'd have in a boat, and I had a Mountain Dew in it, and it's got all kinds of glass and windows in the front. Well, that was all busted out and everything, and so when the ship finally came to a stop, when I shut it off, I didn't really imagine how bad it was until I looked up, and about 30 feet in a tree was this gimbaled yellow cup holder with the soda still in it.
Wow.
And then it kind of dawned on me, wow, that's just bad. The rest of it's got to be really bad if that's up there.
Anything happened to those 9 hours that was scary? Or?
It was actually, it was the hand of the Lord. I mean, it was the most miraculous thing that ever happened.
Did you have any communications? Were you able to tell people, hey, we're here, or anything?
No, everything had busted out. Matter of fact, one of the instruments that I bought for this helicopter was about $25,000. Didn't want to pay for that, but it was a GPS emergency locating transmitter. But instead of just sending out a signal, it actually sent out to NORAD, who owns the helicopter, who to contact, and all that. So I thought, we fly a lot of remote places. We should buy that. So I bought that and I put it in the panel, and 2 fishermen actually found us later. We couldn't hardly say help because we were in such bad shape. But the guy yelled down, is anybody there? And right next to me, this thing that I bought for $25,000, the batteries were busted out and the wires were gone, so it was doing nothing. So I shoved it out the cargo door, it hit the ground, which made the guy come down to the helicopter, which saved us.
Saw that. Wow.
So I was going to call Garmin and say, your GPS system was incredible, it saved our life, but then so would a $2 brick.
Okay, well, Mike, I think that's a great point to end on. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's really been great chatting with you, and you know, you're a great landlord. Let me get that on the record.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.